NomNom is an upcoming TCG RPG that takes place in a world between dimensions and universes. It's hyper-advanced, with the world itself fighting civilization for dominance. Since the world takes place between dimensions, anything that you can think is possible in NomNom, and the world is ever-changing as new dimensions and universes collide. Here's everything that you need to know before the Kickstarter. So what is NomNom? What is a TCG RPG even? NomNom combines elements of board games, tabletop RPGs, and D&D. These are games where your decision-making and dice rolling determine how well you do in the game. Each player's deck will consist of a party of 3 characters and various nomsters, artifacts, and other types of cards that can modify the characters and nomsters. And the gameplay for NomNom consists of both players building dungeons with different sector cards. Each sector is basically a room in the dungeon, and each sector has its own buffs, debuffs, and abilities that affect the gameplay. Now, in order to win a game of NomNom, you need to get through your opponent's dungeon, make it all the way to their boss monster, which is a very high-powered nomster, and slay that boss nomster before they can slay yours. So not only are there elements of deck building, but also dungeon building, and then strategy to decide, are you going to slow down your opponent to get to your boss monster, or are you going to get to their boss monster and slay it? Now in NomNom, there are no resource cards like you would see in Magic the Gathering with the mana. Each of your nomsters and characters will generate XP that you can use as a resource to power up your cards. So essentially, you'll never have a dead turn, because if you didn't have any nomsters or characters, the game would be over. Nomsters will have genetics, which you might be familiar with the term traits. These could be things like flying or camouflage. And artifacts, genetic mutations, and other cards can affect the genetics of some of the nomsters. The game is still in playtesting phases, so we actually haven't seen any real gameplay at this time, but that's a high-level overview of what we know so far. Now, who's behind NomNom? We have 3 co-founders. The first is Victor Larson. The idea of the world of NomNom comes from Victor, and Victor was the art director for MetaZoo for some of your favorite sets, Cryptid Nation and Nightfall. We also have Johnny Dunn, or you may know him as Moldy Potions on R&D. Johnny's been a longtime TCG fan, as well as video games and other inspirations for NomNom, and you might know him from his popular Metabros YouTube channel. And the third co-founder is Tyrannatessa. She also has a YouTube channel and does art. Other artists include Emily Nancy, Drawn to Works, and Kyle Culp Art. Now, something incredibly interesting with NomNom is that they already have a voice actor for their main character, Ralph. It's been announced that the main character, Ralph, will be played by Bryce Papenbrook. He's already done a short with them to announce the Kickstarter. With almost 300 credits to his name, primarily in the anime and video game industries, you're sure to have come across some of his work. Most notably, he was Eren on Attack on Titan. He was in 7 Deadly Sins, Demon Slayer, and Sonic the Hedgehog. Bryce is also acting as a consultant and advisor on the project. Now, we've seen a number of teases over the last few months, starting in December of 2022 with Voltaraptor, and these really show off the variety of nomsters and characters that we're going to be seeing throughout the NomNomverse. As you can see from these nomsters, some of them do take inspiration from things that we know from our world, and there are definitely some very interesting designs here that they've come up with. Other cards we've seen are Dinobug and Kisimian, which will be part of the Proto-packs, and we'll talk about that in a minute. We have sneak peeks of Tsunamigator, various Lost Sands nomsters, Ralph's nemesis Amosaurus, and Peanut. And we've also seen images from playtesting of various different nomsters, characters, and artifacts that will likely make their appearance in the game. And we've seen 2 of the boss monsters, Lily and Great Tree of Heroes, that are very powered up nomsters. This is also the first time that we've been able to see sectors and what they could possibly do. But please do keep in mind that these images come from playtesting, so everything there is subject to change. I'm sure some of it has had major changes. Now for the Kickstarter, that is going to release in September. They're going to be putting a huge focus on the quality of the boxes and the packs. They want to make this something that collectors are going to want to put on their shelves, something that's very cool to have sitting on your shelf sealed. They're going to have booster boxes and bundle boxes, which are going to be like ETBs, and they're also considering having things like plushies, pins, binders, etc., depending on how well the Kickstarter does. And already they've committed to doing global distribution with the Kickstarter, not just US-based distribution. So they want to make sure that NomNom gets to all corners of the world that want to experience it. So we're about a month away from the Kickstarter starting, so we're a while away from having that Kickstarter product in hand. So what can you get your hands on now? Well, there have been a number of serialized art cards and prints at various events. We have art cards such as Sophie, Ralph, Gigashark, and Gravekeeper in the wild. These are serialized. And we have art prints for things like Kappa Ramen and Big Daddy. There's also some apparel on Senpai Studios' website. And while it's not exactly NomNom, Victor did do an alternate art cover for Hail King Crow of Hell, and accompanying the sale of that comic book was a Kid Crow art card. For future releases, they've talked about having NomNom toys with NFC chips. These will be scannable later on down the road to redeem undisclosed goodies. It does seem that these would be available as blind box, and there's yet to be any real information on that other than the announcement at the start of the Discord. They've talked about possibly doing monthly print-to-order plushies and original artwork done by the artists of NomNom. These original artworks or sketch cards would predate the Kickstarter. They'd be serialized, signed, have a certificate of authenticity, and they'd be looking at distributing these in fun and exciting ways. They're focusing on the game to start, but eventually there will be graphic novels. They're looking to do sample test decks, which hopefully that would happen pretty soon, considering the Kickstarter is going to be next month. If you are a holder of those serialized prints or art cards that I mentioned before, you can use those later down the road after the Kickstarter to redeem for a serialized playable card. The serialization of the art card or print that you have will match the serialization of that card. And they've also talked about plans to have sets in the future that feature various popular artists, possibly in different art styles. But most importantly, they're going to have what's called Proto-packs. These are the real sample packs for NomNom. Wave 1 will go live Friday, July 21st on the World of NomNom website. They'll be $10 a pack, limit 3 per person, and each pack will contain 3 cards. And the total print run of Wave 1 is 333 packs. Overall, Wave 1 will have 6 cards. Now, it was mentioned in a recent live that they are going to feature every rarity in the Proto-packs, but the odd thing there is that there's 7 rarities, from common to cosmic rare. So it seems like we might actually be seeing 7 different cards in Wave 1 of the Proto-packs. In total, there will be 4 waves of Proto-packs, and that's going to be dispersed until the shipment of the Kickstarter to give people something to collect while they're waiting for their Kickstarter to arrive. So mark your calendars, create an account on worldofnomnom.com, and be ready for the drop. Now, how can you stay up to date with NomNom? There is a NomNom Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and a YouTube channel where they upload their live streams from the Discord after they're done. The best way to keep in touch would be to join the NomNom Discord, and this is where you can interact with the team and the community. Victor holds art contests in the Discord, and that art influences the art that goes into the sets. There's a sneak peek channel, which is a great place to see new art and concepts before anyone else. And they also have a voice channel where they have weekly updates with the community. And again, those weekly updates will be uploaded to their YouTube channel. Finally, you can go to worldofnomnom.com to learn more about NomNom. That's also where things will be on sale in their marketplace. All the links that you need are in the description below, so definitely go click on those and bookmark them. Well, that's everything that you need to know ahead of the Kickstarter and the Proto-packs. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.